All right, so here we go. It was 3-2, correct?
Yep.
Now, listen, we have a big day today because I have two worksheets, 3-3 and 3-4, to deal with graphing lines. And we already did graphing lines last year, first semester and second semester, so it really should be easy. But I'm sure I need a good review. All right, so I need to get through this as quickly as I possibly can. So let's take a look here and tell me something that you would like me to go over. I think there was a proof somewhere, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's look. Again, it says paragraph proof, but obviously we're not doing that. So it says, given L is parallel to M, and M is parallel to N, we're going to prove that angle 1 is congruent to angle 12. We're trying to prove that angle 1 is congruent to angle 12. Is everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Now, well, that's exactly what we're going to do. However, it does not say that L is parallel to N. Right? I'm not, listen, Joe. No, I'm not. All I'm telling you is, to me, I'm with you. I sat right where you were saying, why am I even bothering this problem? It's obvious. Put your hand down. It's obvious. All right? That's 100% true. That's what I said. It's obvious. But what we're trying to teach you again, remember, is that you can't just state the obvious and be done with it. You have to explain it to somebody why you know for sure it is. All right? So what we would say is this. All right? And you tell me if this makes sense. Line L is parallel to M, and M is parallel to N. Therefore, line L has to be parallel to N. L has to be parallel to N. You can either do it as a substitution, or you can do it as a transitive property. Does everybody agree with that? All right. Transitive property says if A equals B and B equals C, then A has to equal C, right? It's the same thing that holds true with parallel lines. You can't draw three parallel lines and say line 1 is parallel to 2 and 2 is parallel to 3, and some way make the drawing so 1 and 3 are not parallel. Do we agree with that? All right. So I'm with Joe on here. This is stating the obvious, but we're not going to state the obvious. All right. The first thing you're going to write down is the given. Line L is parallel to M, and M is parallel to N. That's given. Step 2 for you. Step 2 would be line L is parallel to line N, and you can either say substitution or you can say transitive property. All right? Now, what's the relationship between angle 1 and angle 12? Yes. So you could now say that angle 1 is congruent to angle 12 by the alternate exterior angle theorem. All right, it's alternate exterior angle theorem. Yes.
I didn't do that, but
Let me hear it. I want to hear it.
so I didn't do that. I did angle 1 is congruent to angle 8.
Oh, that's actually very, very good.
And then like alternate exterior angle, and then angle 8 is congruent to angle 9, so then that's alternate interior angle, and then angle 9 is congruent to angle 12.
There are so many ways. Very good. Listen, and that's why I'm trying to tell you. That's why it's hard for me when I give you a test, and if I don't write out the steps, so you have to put them in. To me, that's harder than writing the proof on your own, because he sees it completely different, which I personally actually kind of like that way better, right? Because that gives you your understanding. But you could say, for example, 12 is congruent to 5. Those are alternate exteriors. 1 is congruent to 5. Those are corresponding. Then you can do a what? Substitution, right? So there's so many ways. There are so many ways to write that proof. So many ways. All right? You can't just tell me you don't know anything about that. All right, quick.
This one is a different question.
All right, hold on. Anything else about this problem 11?
So the way that Isaac did it, would you have to state that L is parallel to N?
No, he didn't use. Oh, actually, yeah. You still listen to me. You would still have to say L is parallel to N, right? Right. But in the way I said it, and that's a very good observation too. Very good. You see what I'm saying? Like, I can't say 1 is congruent to 12 because I haven't said L is parallel to N. Listen, that's what they're trying to... Now look, guys, I'm telling you now, you have to listen to what I'm saying. No daydreaming. Right? Because you can't correct this the night before a test. It really is not possible. You got to be thinking about it every single day. All right? So we had really 2 great observations. I can't say 1 is congruent to 12 because I haven't said what? N is parallel to L yet. As soon as I say N is parallel to L, I'm in good shape. Now, the way I did it was I didn't say anything about L and N, right? I just simply said 1 is congruent to 5, right? Because I'm using L and M. And then I'm using 5 and 12. I'm using N and M. That's acceptable to do because those tell me that it's parallel.
But isn't that what I did? Because I didn't want to do it. 8 is congruent to 9, and 9 is congruent to 6.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay, I thought you said something else. No, that's perfect.
So
Absolutely
that way
perfect.
you wouldn't have to.
No, you don't, because why? We never said, we never made a connection with L and N directly. We went L and M, and then we went M and N.
Okay.
Very, very good. All those are good. All right, now here we go. Next question, go.
It's 21 on the page below it. So, is the graphic just drawn incorrectly?
Well, what is your relationship?
Well, because for X, I got 11.
Well, I know, I'm just saying though, I can't look at that and tell you that it's 11. I'm asking you, what equation did you write?
Oh, I did 9x plus 21 equals 11.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Minus
That's
1.
right. That's
and
good.
then x equals 11.
So, yep, that is correct.
So
now
that would
what?
be an angle of 120, but the line.
Yeah, they don't, listen, that's not what's inaccurate, right? The drawing is inaccurate
Okay.
because the angle measure is incorrect, right? So, again, I always try to remind you that the editors don't know anything about math. They just type what they were told to type.
No.
You with me on that?
Yeah.
So he's correct. If you do 120 as the angle measure, that's obviously obtuse, but they're telling you it's the acute. So don't go by that. Go by the relationship.
How'd you get 11?
Well, because 9x plus 21 is equal to 11x minus 1, right?
Oh, I thought it was on the opposite side. I was reading it as 11x minus
No,
1.
and again, I totally understand what
Yeah,
you're saying
that's
on that
what I
too,
thought.
right? So again, I'm going to try to, on the test, make it clear what angle goes to what. Does everybody make sense on that? And so, didn't we say this was 120 degrees?
Yeah.
So then this is 60.
Yeah.
So 5y minus 5 equals 60.
Okay.
Now that's how now look, again, there are multiple ways. I don't want to waste time telling you every different possible way to do it. I'm simply saying, did you get the right answer? If you got the right answer, then what you did is correct. All right, Ashley, you good with that? All right. Now, is there anything else in here? Anything else you want to discuss? Go ahead.
I don't know what to do on 9 and 10.
All right, so on this page right here?
No, sorry, the other line. It says
This-
the auxiliary line.
Oh, okay. Now listen to me. What auxiliary is listen, it's just you're going to draw a line that's not there.
Okay.
Draw a line that's not there. What, guys, what?
Just find it.
Define angle 1.
And my opposite is opposite.
All right.
So much about that.
So again, thank you for that newsflash. But again, auxiliary, listen, you're drawing a line that is not there. All right, you're drawing a line that's not there to help you out.
Okay.
So what I'm going to ask you to do is to draw this line from, now there's 2 ways to do it. You can draw this line right here,
That's what I did.
and that helps you see that all of those lines are what? Those are parallel.
Where's that?
All right?
One
Is everybody with me? We already had that conversation. All right? So, if this angle right here is 50 degrees, if this angle right here is 50, then this angle right here has to be what? 50 degrees. Right? And if this is 100 degrees, that would force this to be what? 80 degrees, right? So then angle 1 would just be what? 130 degrees.
What is 130?
Angle 1.
I got it right, but I just get.
No, that's okay. Logic. What? Come on.
How did you fill in? This is gonna sound bad. How did you get those?
I'm. You know what? You don't have to tell me that. What?
How did you get the answers?
50? How did I get 50?
Yeah.
This and this.
Oh, okay. I thought you
Yeah,
were
that's all
gonna
right. That's
go
all right. Here we go. All right. Now, let me show you something else what you could have done. All right. For those of you guys, you might have done this also. All right. You could have just drawn this line right here and extended it out this way.
Or the bottom.
You with me? And so if this is 50 degrees, then this right here would have to be what? 50, right? And this is 100, so this would have to be what? 80, correct?
That makes more sense in my opinion.
They're supplementary. Supplementary, right? Good though. You with me? And then that's 80 plus 50 is 130. From 180 means this guy is 50, which means that's 130. So, like I'm saying, what I'm trying to tell you guys, especially if you're going to take standardized tests, you're going to have to draw something sometimes. So if you don't see it, you're just going to, in geometry, you have to draw things. There's lots of things to try. What?
Number 10 is it.
Well, hold on one second. Is everybody good with this explanation?
Yeah, then.
All right, okay.
The number 10 is at 1 this ends at 100.
Well, it's. I think it's kind of the same principle, right?
Yeah.
So let's just, since we know, you have to decide what you want to do, right? So we're going to draw the auxiliary line or the parallel line. So if this right here is 62, this one is 62 degrees, and if that's 144, that has to be 36,
Does the little
98.
62 so both have the little triangles?
Yes. So let's do that now. Is everybody okay with that so far, right? Okay, so now what I want to do is, let's just get rid of this out of the way, right? So now let's say we draw this from here to here,
Yeah.
right? So this would still be now 62, right? And then this would be, what do we say, 36. And eventually you know that the exterior is the sum of the interior. Just to save me some time, that's 98. Supplementary. Shh, hold on. I want him to think. You see what I'm saying? 144 plus 36 is what?
Oh.
Right? Listen to me. The thing that's got to pop into your brain is when I draw a line, you have to say from there to there is what? 180. Perfect. You see what I'm saying? And for some reason, kids overlook that sometimes. Right? Anytime you draw a line, it's 180 degrees. Quick. All right, let's take a look at 7. Then we got to move on. All right. So now it's just, to me, a matter of looking at this right here. This is obtuse or acute. This is what? So what's an obtuse and acute? They add up to, if they're parallel lines, they add up to 180. You hear me now? Do I need to go any further? Well, what's 3x plus 9x? So 12x plus 12 equals 180. And now here I would divide by 12. So x plus 1 is equal to 15. So x equals 14. Correct? And then we can figure it out from there, right? Because we would plug 14 in here and say that these two angles are what, Sam? Exactly. All right? You good? I feel pretty good about that. Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right. So, again, I thought that was nice. All right? Very, very nice. So what I want to do now is I want to jump back now, or jump into the review of lines. All right, try not to slow me down. All right? Hopefully this is, you're going, wow, okay, I'm fuzzy, but it's coming back. All right, it's going to take some time. All right, and I put 2 worksheets into 1 because we missed for the hurricane. We got to catch up. All right? So here we go. All right? Who remembers what the slope formula is? M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. But as you progress, we're going to refer to it as delta y over delta x. Delta just means change. Change in y over change in x. Change in y over change in x. Everybody happy with that? All right. Now, the only difference between this year and last year is that I expect you to be able to look at it and tell me the answer. Now, again, it doesn't matter what y you start with as long as you're consistent. All right? So in this case, I want to show you that 4 minus 2 is 2. 0 minus negative 1 is 1. So the slope was 2. All right? So again, practicing your mental math right now. Look up and see if you agree that the slope is 2. Anybody have any doubts about that, right? Everybody good? All right. So now let's go to... Oh, yeah, we'll wait for you, for sure. Oh, wow. We're good. Now we can progress. Thank you. All right. Here we go. So now we're going on to number 3. So listen again, practicing mental math. M is 3 minus 1, which is 3 minus 0. That's the slope, guys. Everybody happy? Easy. That's what I'm expecting. All right. Now we're going to look at it from a line perspective. All right. So delta y over delta x. Remember what I said? The rise over the run. So the easiest way to remember it is to go to the left point. So we're going to start at this point right here, the end, and I'm going to go to P. So I'm going up, right, and then I'm going to the right. So delta y, somebody tell me what delta y is. Somebody said 6. Now, sometimes you make a mistake because you start at 1, right? So you got to be careful. All right? Yeah, no, we're good. 6. And then delta x, somebody tell me is 8. Does everybody agree? Yes, and you don't even have to say 6 over 8. You can automatically say what? 3 over 4. All right? Now, I did this last period, so I want to make sure I'm trying to do my animations good. All right, so watch. No, not animate. All right? Here we go. So look, I'm going to show you now my point is going to be moved. Please look up on the board. All right? What's the slope from there to there? What's the slope from there to there? What's the slope from there to there? Yes, it doesn't matter. The slope on a line is always the same. It doesn't matter what 2 points you select. It will always be what? 3/4. Now in the future, they have a whole math based on the fact that slopes can change on curves. All right? That will be in calculus. We'll learn all about that. It's lots of fun. All right, yes?
Where it crosses the y-axis, did you also do that?
Yeah, listen. Again, that's what we just said. Thank you. Does it matter what 2 points you pick? No. As long as you pick 2 points that are on the graph. All right? So, that's a good review. All right? Now, number 7. All right? You have to remember this. Parallel lines. What can you tell me about parallel lines? What can you tell me about their slopes?
They're the same slope.
Same slopes. All right? So, parallel lines, you would write above that, slopes are equal. For parallel lines, slopes are equal. Now, does anybody remember about perpendicular?
It's like reverse is negative.
Right, we say it's the
Inverse.
negative
Contra.
reciprocal.
No, never.
Negative reciprocal. All right? So, the slopes are negative reciprocals. Negative reciprocals. Anything else, then it's what? Anything else, it's neither. Anything else, it's neither. All right? So let's take a quick look at 7 real quick. All right? And again, I'm really expecting you to be able to do the mental math pretty good here.
Oh, we have to do an IXL with this.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So, M is equal to. Now, for me, I would prefer that you write the notation a little better. So we're going to say the slope of AB is equal to 10 over negative 5, which is negative 2. Does Is everybody okay with that?
Uh,
10 over negative 5. Right? Is everybody practicing your mental math? Look and make sure you can do that. Now I'm doing the slope of mn is equal to 7 plus 1 is 8 over negative 6 plus 2, which is negative 4, which is negative 2. So that's the symbol for parallel. All right, that's the symbol for parallel. They're parallel because the slopes are equal. All right. Now, let's take a look at number 9. All right, so again, we're going to do the slope of AB, and the slope of AB is 2 plus 7, 9. 4 plus 2 is 6. 9/6 is the same as 3 over 2. Now again, be careful with your negatives. All right, try to be careful with your negatives. And like I said, right, in order to get better at the mental math, you're practicing, right? Is everybody okay with it being 3 over 2? If you're not seeing it 3 over 2, let me correct you. Everybody's good? All right. So now we're going to do the slope of mn, and let's see what that is. 6 minus 0
6.
over 2 plus 2, 3 over 2. So again, these appear to be what? Parallel. All right, since we didn't hit a perpendicular one, I'm just going to give you a quick example. So if I said the slope is equal to 2/3, and the slope of the other one was negative 3/2, those would be what? And that's the symbol for perpendicular. Yes, that's why we say it's negative reciprocal. All right, negative reciprocal.
Is that not the
No,
contract? Oh,
no.
look, it is.
All right,
Wait,
Here we go.
your mood today, Mr. Strauss.
say it again.
9 is parallel. Oh, it's not.
9 is parallel. 9 is parallel. Okay, now let's refresh. All right, this is the stuff that's important now as we're graphing. All right, one of the most important things for all standardized tests is graphing. All right, so you immediately always plot the point first. You immediately plot the point first. So in this case, the point is nice because, don't forget, make yourself a note, that is called the y-intercept. That's called the y-intercept. All right, so you're going to plot the y-intercept, which is 0, 1. Now what's the slope? 3, so that means up
3 over.
over 1. Up 3 over 1. So you just go up 3, 1, 2, 3 over 1, right? And then, again, you draw your line. All right, everybody happy with that? All right. Now, here we go. All right, let's go to number 12. All right, so we're going to plot the point negative 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I plot the point negative 4, 5. And then I use the slope what?
Down 3 over 2.
Down 3 to the right 2. Now you're always moving the slope from the point. So I go down 3 and to the right 2. All right? And from there, you can draw your line. All right, any questions? All right, let's bring back some fond memories. What? Everybody okay? Sam? All right. Now here we go. All right, we want a line. I'm going to do 14. I'm going to do 14. All right, because I think you can do 13. All right, so I want a line that passes through 0, negative 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plot 0, negative 2. Now I want it to be perpendicular to, bless you, I want to be perpendicular to CX. So I have to figure out what the slope of CX is. Do we agree? All right, so let's figure out what the slope. So the slope of CX is equal to, what's 3 plus 1? 0 minus 2. So the slope of CX is negative 2. Now just hear me out now. All I'm asking you to do is find the slope of CX. Anybody having trouble with finding the slope of CX? Right? Now, and I'm going to draw it out so you can see it, a better visual for this, but please just watch and see what I'm saying. All right? So I have the slope of CX. Now, I want it to be perpendicular. So the slope of the perpendicular would be what? 1/2. Does anybody have any problems with the slope of the perpendicular being 1/2?
Because you just do the opposite.
The reciprocal, exactly. So it'd be 1/2, right? So now from there I go what? Down 1, I'm sorry, up 1 and to the right 2. So everybody do that. All right, up 1 to the right 2. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you why it's perpendicular, or how I know it's perpendicular. All right. Now what I want to do is I want to plot the point CX. So I'm going to do 0, 3, and then 2, -1. Wow. And here's what I should do though. 0, 3, 2, -1. Now if I draw that line through those 2 points, what does it appear like they are? Looks like they're perpendicular to me, right? So that angle right there we would say is what? 90 degrees. And it's 90 degrees because the slopes are negative reciprocals. Yes, ma'am. Good.
So for the negative reciprocal, you always have to make it a positive or negative, opposite of what it is, but instead of just switching it.
I don't know what you mean by switching.
So like you make it,
If one slope is positive, the slope of the perpendicular is going to be
negative.
If the slope is negative, the perpendicular is going to be
Positive.
That's what that means.
And then you just switch the numbers.
Yep, couldn't have said it better myself.
I
What?
have a question on that one. So it says, why does it go down 1 if it's a positive 1?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
When you were doing plotting the point of
Shh, I gotta hear it.
perpendicular equals 1/2, why does it go down?
I didn't. I went up 1 and over 2. Let me just verify that. Up 1 and over 2.
Okay. I was doing from the origin.
Yeah. No, again, that's a good mistake. All right. Always go from the plotted point, not the origin. Always go from the plotted point. Okay, here we go. Now, we're into the, obviously, a little bit harder. All right. So stay with me. Write the equation in slope-intercept form. So for those of you guys remember, slope-intercept form is y equals,
MX plus B.
right, y equals mx plus b. All right. Now it says to graph the line, but I don't think that's necessary for us. All right. But I'll review it with you. All right. So it is important to be able to write the equation. So the equation for number 1 would just be what? Right, y equals -4x plus 3. So number 3 would be y equals
3/7x plus 1.
Yeah, is everybody understanding me on that? Right, because the equation is y equals mx plus b. Right? So they give you m and they give you b. So you just plug in for m and you plug in for b. All right? Now, if we're going to graph that, all right, but we're not, all right, but I'm just reviewing with you. If I were to ask you to graph, you plot the y-intercept first. So you would go what?
Up 3.
Up 3, plot a point.
And then down 4.
1, 2, 3, plot a point. Then I would use the slope, so I would go what? Down 4 to the right 1. Down 4 to the right 1. And then you would draw that line. All right, is everybody happy with that? All right, you don't have to graph it. I'm just saying you should be able to do that simple. All right. So if I'm asking you to graph number 3, everyone would say, you would just go what?
Up
Up 1, plot a point. From there,
Up 3/7.
over 7, plot your second point, and then draw the line. Everybody happy with that?
Yes.
All right, you're responsible for that. Make sure you got that. All right. Now, the next one, point slope form. So we have y equals mx plus b, which we don't really use that much anymore. All right, the one we use the most is point slope because it's actually the easiest one to use. So what does that mean? Point slope, y minus,
y1 equals m parentheses x minus x.
wow, I'm better than I thought, actually. All right. That was pretty good.
I actually remember that.
That was pretty good. I know. That's how good I am. I'm telling you. All right. So again, everybody should know that. Now, again, look up on the board because here's the connection I want you to make with the point slope form. and the actual slope formula. Please look and listen for a quick second. All right? That, right, formula right there is called point slope form. Now what I want you to do is I want you to go back up here to the very beginning. Look what I said right here, guys. I need your attention. Oh, come on. Look for a quick second. All right? Now, I'm trying to get you to see the connection between that. All right? So, what I'm doing here, watch the magic. All right? In this case, I'm going to multiply both sides by x2 minus x1, multiply by x2 minus x1. Then these would do what to each other? Cancel out. That's how they got that formula. It's the same as the slope formula, except they just solved it for y2 minus y1. Everybody with me on this, right? All right, that's all they did. Now, when you write the equation of line, though, you need an x and a y for the line. The y1 and the x1 are the point that it goes through. What?
Okay.
All right?
So
No, just watch me. It's simple. This simple. It's simple. All right? This right here is considered x1 and y1. So look how simple this problem is. Y minus 2 equals 2 times, and then we're done. That's it. All right? That's all it is. All right? So for question number 7, the answer would be what? Come on, together.
Minus 5 equals
negative
-1/2.
Y minus 5 equals -1/2 times x plus 2. All right, any questions with that? All right. So now, here we go. Now we're going to look at R, and we're going to try to write the equation. Now, the easiest way to do it is y equals mx plus b, because generally when you have a line, they give you the y-intercept. Is everybody with me? Yeah. So look at R. So let's find R over here. So this is R right here. That's R. What's the y-intercept?
0, 3.
Right. So B is 3. So B is 3. That's the y-intercept. Now, the slope, right, because you're just looking here 2 points. Up 1, over 1. Right. 2 random points, because we said earlier, doesn't matter what 2 points you pick. The slope will always be what? The same. All right? So, no, stop and just listen. Stop and listen. I'm asking you, if you're not sure the slope is 1, now you let me know. Does everybody understand the slope is 1? All right? So now, over here, the slope is 1. We've identified the y-intercept and we have identified the slope. So the equation is y equals 1x plus 3. Exactly. All right? Now let's try to figure out what t is. All right, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to graph t. And t looks like this line right here. So I'm identifying the y-intercept, which is what? -3. So I come back over. I'm just going to put b equals -3. Then I'm going to try to figure out what the slope is by finding another point. This point looks good to me right here. Right, that point right there looks good. So up 3 and over 1. So the slope is what? So m equals 3. So your equation would be y equals, beautiful, y equals 3x minus 3. I don't think that's that hard. All right, let's take a look at number 13. The line parallel to R that contains 1, -1. So if I'm parallel to R, I have to find the slope of R. What was the slope of R? R equals what? I'm not R equals, but M equals what? Yeah, so again, stay with me when I'm asking you a question. The slope is 1, correct? And now we're going through what other point? 1, negative 1. Is that the y-intercept? Is
No.
1, negative 1 the y-intercept? No. So we can't use slope-intercept. We're going to use what form? Point-slope. Why do we use point-slope? Because we have a point and we have a slope. So now, Ryan, my answer was what?
X minus 2.
For 13?
Yeah, y equals x minus 2.
So y plus 1 equals 1 times x minus 1. All right, that's the answer. All right, that's the answer. All right, now again, you could put it in y equals mx plus b format, but it's not necessary. All right, point slope is the standard. All right, because that's just the quickest way to do it. Ryan, does that make sense?
Yeah, I just
Alright.
did it.
I know. All right. Now, so let's do 14 real quick. I need the line perpendicular to S, so I have to find the slope for S. The slope of S. So I'm going to my notes over here, trying to figure out what S is. So here is S. From here to here. So the slope of S is equal to what? Yeah, it looks to me like negative 2. All right? So now I come down to my problem. The slope of S is negative 2 because we just looked at the graph and saw that it was negative 2. Shh. Go ahead. Come on.
I don't see why it's negative 2.
What do you want it to be?
1, 2, 3, negative 4.
Over what?
Yeah.
All right? Now, we want the slope perpendicular. So the slope perpendicular to that would be what?
1 over 2.
1/2. Right? And what's nice is that the y-intercept is what?
0.
0. So we can just say the equation had to be y equals 1/2 x.
I don't think it's showing right here.
Now it's done. Okay. Let me fix it real quick. All right. So, what was the question now? Anybody have a question? Did they figure it out? Everybody good? What?
Sorry, can you go back to it?
You don't know why the slope is negative 2?
No, like right in, so you go 1, 2, over, okay, so 1, 2.
All right. Now, 15. So again, 15 would be easy because they give you the m and the what? B, right? So it's just y equals 6x minus 2. Right? Come on, guys, stay with me now. It's just a little bit more time. Y equals 6x minus 2. Now, 17 is easy too because you know that 0, negative 6 is the y-intercept. So that's just y equals negative x minus 6. All right. The last one that's difficult here is 19. You have to find the slope. What?
17 y plus 6 equals negative 1
Right? You can do that, right? But I want you to identify the 0, negative 6 as the y-intercept. I want you to be able to do that. Just like over here, I want you to be able to identify that 0, 10 is the what? Y-intercept. Right? I want you to know that. All right? Now I need the what? So the slope is 10 minus 0 over 0 minus 2. So the slope is, so my equation is
y equals negative 5x plus 2.
exactly. All right. Now, if we were doing 20, if the x-intercept is negative 2, that's the point negative 2, 0. If the y-intercept is negative 1, it's 0, negative 1. Everybody happy with that? All right. So for some reason, kids forget that when they say the x-intercept, the y value is what? 0. Just like when they say the y-intercept, kids forget the x value is what? 0. All right, does everybody hear me on that?
Yes.
All right, so from that information, guys, listen, you need to have both worksheets done tomorrow. All right, both worksheets done tomorrow. It's really kind of easy. All right, go through. If you're having some trouble, look at your notes.